My name is Sandra. I wanted to record my journey with breast cancer. I noticed that there wasn't a lot of videos out there that recorded the whole journey, and that's what I hope to do. So I thought maybe if this, even if this video helped one person, see that I'm making it through this just like everybody else has before me. I found the lump in my left breast on, it was August 25th. And, I got this, sudden, my stomach just fell. And I was thinking, no, this can't be it, So I called that day and scheduled a mammogram at the Central Texas Medical Center. And I also called my doctor and told him, hey, I found a lump in my breast. And I called and scheduled a mammogram. Can you send over the doctor, a doctor's order? So that was done. And I had my mammogram on August 27th. They decided that they were going to ultrasound it. So I was taken back to ultrasound, and they had a look at it. And the doctor came in, and he said, well, it doesn't look like cancer, but obviously it shouldn't be there. So I'm going to, you need to schedule an appointment with Dr. Anderson, who's a surgeon at Central Texas Medical Center, and is awesome. You need to go in and see him and schedule a biopsy. So I thought, okay, we'll get this done and it'll be over and done with. So I went and I saw Dr. Anderson on the 28th. Actually, the very next day I got an appointment. And he checked me out, and he, said that, they would, do a lumpectomy and biopsy it. He said, he didn't think it was anything. It was located right below my left nipple. So he thought maybe it was just a papilloma, and it would be no big deal. So he scheduled me for the lumpectomy, and we'll get it out and get it checked out. So I had my lumpectomy on September 8th. Went in, had the surgery. Dr. Anderson told my husband, it looks good, I'm not expecting anything. Schedule an appointment in, 2 weeks or so, for follow-up. So I went home. I was a little groggy. I'd had Versed, and I'd had a little medication. It didn't really put me out. It was, but I didn't really remember the surgery. So I, like I said, I went home and I rested. Forgot all about it. Didn't think anything of it. Dr. Anderson said, hey, it all looks good. I was sore. I do have a scar across my left nipple. Probably about 1.5 inches or so. I want to back up a minute though, because before I had my lumpectomy done, it was a needle-guided lumpectomy. So I was taken into ultrasound before I had my surgery done. And what they do is while they're looking at ultrasound, they put some lidocaine around the area of the lump, and they insert a needle into the lump, and it gets left there, and the needle's, it's just this coiled up piece of wire that they kind of stick into a cup and tape the cup to your breast, and you go off to surgery like that, and then the surgeon removes the tumor. He removes everything around the needle, so that guides him to where it is. I did notice on the ultrasound that the cyst or whatever it was, we were thinking at that time, had grown a little bit. And it had also grown a tail on it. So basically it looked like a, if you've ever seen a video of a seed that starts to grow, you know, it's got that round and it's got the little tail coming out. That's what it looked like. So I thought, and I commented on that to Dr. Anderson before my surgery, and he is, you know, had said, it looked like maybe it was just a little blocked duct in that area. So, you know, no big deal. So after my surgery, I waited. I didn't have an appointment with Dr. Anderson again until September 23rd. And that was when I went in to follow up. I was feeling good. You know, I had a little pain in the area of the surgery. There is, you know, my breast looks different. It's not rounded anymore. It's, you know, there is some deformity there. And, you know, anybody that's watching this and, you know, and is going to get a lumpectomy in that area, I do not have any more sensation in that nipple. It has gone. The area of the surgery feels hard. Some of the swelling has gone down now, so it's not as lumpy. But the skin is not soft. It's you know, a hard area underneath the scar, and like I said, it is deformed. Just for anybody that wants to know. So I did go back. I went in for this appointment, and Dr. Anderson looks at my incision. He says it all looks good. You know, we're laughing, and you know, this is good. And he picks up my folder, and I'm thinking he's, you know, we're finishing up, and he's gonna leave. Well, then he sits down on his stool, and he looks at me and he says, I have your biopsy results. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and he says it was cancer. And I'm like, oh, you know, what? You know, like that. You know, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? And he's like, no, you have cancer. So, he was real sweet and everything. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And I guess it just didn't really hurt me. I'm a nurse. So, you know, I know the in and outs of some of the medical stuff. So, I guess it didn't really hit me at this point. So he's like, okay, I'm going to send you over to Texas Oncology, to Dr. Smith. He's another awesome guy. And have them, you know, look at this biopsy and decide what they want to do. And he's like, that point, he's like, you know, you're probably looking at, you know, some radiation, you know, maybe some oral medication. So, you know, and he, you know, he was really sweet. He apologized. He's like, I'm so sorry. You know, I really thought this was nothing. He actually had them biopsy it twice, just to make sure that they did have the, you know, the correct results. So at that point, you know, I left the office. You know, I'm numb. I'm going to back up again because I'm just, you know, thinking of this stuff as I'm going along. When I was sitting in the office waiting for my appointment, I had the receptionist, you know, she was right behind me, and she had called up a person on the phone and said, hey, you know, I've got your biopsy results, everything looked good, everything was negative. And it kind of hit me at that point that nobody had called me with my biopsy results. I had just was going along thinking everything was a-okay, I hadn't heard anything bad, so it all must have been good. Obviously it wasn't, but it did, you know, it kind of went across my mind really quick at that point that nobody had called me with my biopsy results. And maybe at that point, you know, my, you know, a little anxiety set in, and I'm thinking, you know, okay, but, and then I, you know, on the next moment I'm thinking, no, you know, I don't have cancer. So anyway, so I called and tried to get an appointment with the oncologist. This the oncologist had to wait on the biopsy results before um, he could make the appointment. So I kind of went back and forth for a little while trying to get Dr. Anderson's office to get the biopsy results over to Dr. Smith so I could make the appointment. So eventually that we got there, and I did see Dr. Smith on October 1st. So Nevin went with me, my husband, and we both went in, and he went over the results and said, you know, we're going to do some chemo, and we're going to do some radiation, and went over some of that with us. Then he said, you know, let me, you know, just examine the area and, you know, just check to see, make sure everything was going okay. Well, while he was examining this area, he happened to notice that I had a lymph node swollen. I told him I had noticed a little swelling there, but I put it down to the lumpectomy. I thought, you know, maybe, you know, there was just, you know, some fluid that had gone out from the surgical site and the lumpectomy, you know, to my lymph glands. So he's like, well, I'm going to send you back over to Dr. Anderson, and we're going to do a lymph node biopsy. So I'm like, okay, you know, we'll head on back over to Dr. Anderson's office. So I got another appointment with Dr. Anderson on Thursday the 9th. Meanwhile, a couple of days later, I think it was a couple of days later, Dr. Smith called me and said that he wanted to do a ultrasound of that lymph node with a needle biopsy. So I'm like, okay. So I went over to ultrasound at Central Texas Medical Center, and they did a needle biopsy, which is, you know, you lay there and, you know, they look at the lymph node on the ultrasound, and they do a little bit of numbing around the lymph node area, and they take this, looks like a gun type thing, and they put it in that area and pull the trigger, and the little needle goes down through the lymph node and pulls it out. This is actually, it actually was painless. Once they put the numbing medication around the lymph node, I did not feel any of that. They took 4 different samples from that lymph node and sent them off for biopsy. You know, I came home, just a little pain, you know, after the numbness wore off, but nothing major. So then we're back to waiting. The waiting is the worst. Your anxiety level is way up there. You try to you know, keep busy, and there's just nothing that can take it away. My husband and I both agreed that waiting for results has been the worst part of this. You just don't know. And of course you start to think the worst. So I get my results. I go to see Dr. Anderson on October 9th. And he actually gives me the results of the needle biopsy. Come to find out, 2 of my lymph nodes tested positive for cancer. So now at this point, we are going to do an Axilla dissection, which means they're going to take all the lymph nodes out in my left armpit area. Now, people have different amounts of lymph nodes in there. It can be anywhere from 7 to, like, I think 16 or something you can have, you know, in there. Mine was 9. They took me in and took out 9 of my lymph nodes. Like I said, two of them ended up having cancer in them. I have a lot of pain in that area. My left arm, from here down, has this constant tingling sensation, like burn. My armpit is numb from there. You can see my scar is healing real well. That's the scar right there. But all of this here is numb. I have a lot of lumps and bumps in there, which is probably fluid. After an axilla dissection, you can be prone to lymphedema, which is fluid that collects in your arm because it's got nowhere to drain to because you've had this lymph node sticking out. A heating pad helps with that. I have my best part of my day is when I can lay down and lay that heating pad on there for a little while, and it just makes you forget about all this sensation for a while. I don't have as much swelling where the surgery was. The first week was very, very uncomfortable. It felt like you had, a pillow stuffed under your arm. You couldn't put your arm down all the way. But a lot of that has gone. I can now put my arm down. I have pretty good range of motion right now. I do try to keep moving it every day so it doesn't stiffen up, and to keep that fluid out of my arm. I do get little pockets of it, right here and right here, but as long as I keep moving it around, it seems to drain out. So after I had the, I also, when I got my axilla dissection, they put a port in. So my port has been inserted right here, and that is going to be for my blood draws and my chemo. So I went back to see Dr. Smith on October 20th, and he told me that they are now going to do 6 rounds of chemo. And my chemo is going to be TCH chemo, which is not as hard on a person as the AC. My cancer was ER, which is estrogen, and ER positive, PR positive, and HER2 positive. So I will be getting Herceptin, and Herceptin can cause some problems with your heart. So I did have an echo done to check out my how strong my heart pumps. Herceptin can affect that, and it can weaken the heart. It can weaken that pump strength. So I will be getting echoes done every 3 months to check that. I will be getting have a Herceptin infusions for a year. After my 6 chemos, I'll get one every 3 weeks, as long as my my white count is okay. And then I will be getting 30 sessions of radiation in the breast and the where the lymph node was, that area there. And those are Monday through Friday for 6 weeks. So this is all going to take me through to probably April, and then like I said, I will continue the Herceptin infusions. I've also had a bone scan done. I had a bone scan and CAT scans of my pelvic area, my abdomen, and my chest. Those were all clear. There was a little area noted on my liver, but it was also there back in 2009, and it hasn't changed. So they're not concerned about that area. They're thinking it may be a little trauma from something. But I'm sure they're probably going to watch it anyway. But everything was clear at this time. So right now, as far as we all know, there are no more tumors in my body anywhere. So I'm getting ready to start the chemo on Monday, the 10th of November. Before all this happened, I actually did have long hair, which I went ahead and cut to this short haircut because I just didn't want that long hair falling out anywhere, all over the place. And I thought I would do this, kind of a transition. So the girls at work were like, hey, why don't you do something wild with your hair, before it all falls out from your chemo. So I did have long red hair, so I went ahead and I dyed it blonde. And everybody really liked it. I had little pink tips. You can hardly tell anymore, but I had little pink tips in my hair. So that was a fun thing to do. It just made me feel good while I was waiting for all of this, all the results and all the waiting, and so it's gotten me through. I'm hoping to record this journey. I'm hoping to record the chemo sessions and how I feel, and how it's affecting me, and keep going until I'm done with this. I will beat this. It is very scary, but I've tried to stay really upbeat, and I do have moments. I'm very apprehensive. I don't know how this chemo is going to affect me. So, as the time, as Monday comes closer, my anxiety level is going up. My husband and I are both going to buzz our hair this weekend. So I'm going to take it down to, just a little bit of hair, so that when it does fall out, it won't be such a mess. They say not to shave your head before your hair falls out, because you will get a lot of tingling sensation in your head, and they say it's worse because your hair will be trying to grow out at the same time as this is going on. So they say don't shave it until it actually starts falling out. So that's my plan, to go ahead and shave it after it starts falling out. I have gone out and I've bought scarves and a little beanie cap, and they say if you wear the beanie underneath, or like a skull cap type hat underneath your scarves, they stay on better. So I've already gotten one of them. So I've been preparing. I've gotten some Queasy Pops for the chemo. They say that it helps with the taste. They say that the chemo has a metallic taste. But anyway, we'll find out all that, and I will let you know in my next video how it goes on chemo day. So follow along, even if this helps one person. Do the breast exam. They find a lump, and maybe this just helps somebody understand a little better what's going to happen. That would be great.